Here Krishna talks about such people also, who are not interested in this and therefore they suffer. But they don't realize they are suffering. Like the dog which goes on biting on the dry bone and thinks that the blood is coming from the bone and enjoys it, whereas the blood is coming from its own gums. Likewise, these people try to enjoy the world, not knowing that actually the world is enjoying them. So here the first shloka goes, Sri Bhagavan Uvacha, Idam tu te guhyatamam pravakshamami anasuyave jnanam vijnana sahitam yad gyatva mokshase ashubhat. Very beautiful verse and very powerful. He says, here I tell you about the most secret, guhyatamam. Guhyam, secret, guhyataram, more secretive. Guhyatamam means highest secret, let me tell you. So be all ears. And why am I teaching you this, Krishna says. Earlier he told, I am teaching you because you have become my Shishya. I am teaching you because you are my Sakha. But here Krishna tells, I am teaching you because you are Anasuya. Asuya means jealousy. When we are jealous with somebody, that is called Asuya normally. So Anasuya should be not being jealous. Now what is Krishna got to worry about jealousy in Arjuna? Why should Arjuna be jealous of Krishna? So that's not the right meaning over here. It could be, but Adi Shankaracharya explains, Asuya means Guneshu Dosha Avishkarana, where we find faults with people where there are no faults are there, where there is no fault exists, but we simply find faults with people, that habit is called Asuya. When we don't like somebody, anything that they do, we find faults with it. That habit is Asuya, is what Adi Shankaracharya says. So Krishna is telling Arjuna, you don't find faults with me. You accept whatever I say, and you are able to understand whatever I am trying to say. Shraddha, you have Shraddha. Therefore, I am going to tell you. Because why to tell it to somebody who is not going to anyway listen and practice? It's a waste of my time, your time. So you should be Anasuya. Also, you think from this point of view that Krishna and Arjuna were friends. Suddenly, Arjuna is realizing Krishna is somebody else more than friend. And what can happen? The first level, he can also feel jealous. Oh, Krishna is so much more than I thought. A sense of, inferiority complex may come to Arjuna. But it has not come. He is so humble. He accepted Krishna as his guru. And then he is able to learn from Krishna. This problem happens all the time. Then they find fault with everything. This wouldn't be the way how Swami would do. This is not the way how Baba would do or say. And they keep finding faults with everything. And that is their problem. Here Krishna is very happy because he has found a Shishya who is Anusuya. How beautiful that word is, isn't it? He says, Jnana Vijnana Sahitam Yad Gyatva Mokshase Ashubhat. I am going to teach you Jnana Vijnana Sahitam. Jnana is the knowledge, theoretical knowledge. Vijnana is the practical process to approach that knowledge and realize that knowledge. See, I am going to tell you where you should reach and how you should reach also. And then he says, knowing which, mokshase ashubhat, all inauspicious things will come to an end. You will be freed from all things that are inauspicious. Now, what is the most inauspicious thing that has happened to us? A black cat crossed the path. No. Then he woke up and saw Warden's face, first thing. Then Warden saw your face, first thing. That they have no choice, they have to see. What is the most inauspicious thing that has happened to us? This bondage of the body is the most inauspicious thing. Because the moment this body was born, we forgot who we were. We started remembering ourselves as this man, this woman, son of so-and-so, father of all these kind of upadis. This is what happened. That's why Mother Lassa keeps teaching her children, Shuddhosi, Buddhosi, Ranjanosi, Samsara Maya, Parivarjitosi. You are ever pure. You are the ever aware. You are the Lord Himself. You are divinity itself. Don't you become entangled in this world. You are beyond this. This is how Mother Lassa, the great mother, would teach her children, made them Brahmagyanis. But how our children are learning? Generally, mothers are telling them, the moment it starts, mother says, you are my son, first tell mummy, then say papa. Otherwise, no food for you today. These are our people, those are others. Don't share your things with them. All kinds of things, all wrong thinking and wrong teaching. That's why we are where we are. And from the day we are born and we forget who we are, we cry. Every child is born crying. They're crying because they think, oh my God, I landed here again. I was just here a while ago. And again in the same world I have landed. Again I have to go through the whole process. While everybody is rejoicing, this fellow is crying. Why? Because he has realized he landed in the same trouble again. Therefore, he cries. The baby cries. So this fellow has gone into an auspicious state, which is he's forgotten his divinity, or sooner or later he'll forget and remember that he's just the body. And from the moment we think we are the body, all the problems start. Avidya, kama, karma. Avidya, that I am the body, that wrong knowledge. Kama, desires start to take care of the body, to please the body, to provide for the body and fulfill all the desires. And then karma, all the actions begin from there, and karma brings the results, karma prabhava, then punarjanma, the cycle continues. So he says, knowing this whole root cause of the whole problem, that you forget who you are, will be gone, and therefore all inauspicious things from your life will be gone. God is called Shivam, auspicious. This is what it is. So second sloka, he says, Raja Vidya Rajaguhyam Pavitram Muttamam Pratyakshaavagamam Dharmyam Susukham Kartum Avyayam. See, also such a good teacher. He doesn't say, because it is such a secret, it's going to be very tough on you. Better be very hardworking, and it's not for everybody. Some teachers scare the students like this. But here Krishna says, this supreme secret is very easy. Supreme secret is very easy. And how it is? It is the purest, pavitram, idam, uttamam. It is the best of all knowledge. Know this. If you don't know anything else, it's okay as long as you know this, because the highest and the purest knowledge. He says, Pratyakshaavagamam. This also is realizable. Hastamalaka is there, Shankaracharya. He gave him the name because as if a berry is kept on your palm, it is as realizable as that. So it is realizable knowledge. It is not a theoretical knowledge which you cannot realize. We talk about so many mathematical theories. I see mathematicians, half the time they are lost in their abstract world of mathematics. And no doubt all the students in topology fail. Most abstract subject. They have to keep on imagining. So, but you can't experience that knowledge. It is not practical. In the sense, it is not applicable knowledge. It's not application-oriented mathematics. Most of it. It's an abstract knowledge, but it has its own use, through which we use many other ways we use it. But it's not like as practical as drinking water or eating food. So, but this knowledge is extremely practical, extremely realizable, Krishna is saying. See how he's encouraging. It's doable, don't worry, you can do it. And then, dharmyam, it is the righteous knowledge. It is the one which puts you on the right path. Because if you have wrong knowledge, you can end up on the wrong path. Suppose somebody tells you, take the right turn. After you reach the Chikbalapur main road, they say, take the right turn to go to Hyderabad. They tell you what will happen. Wrong knowledge will take you to Bangalore instead of Hyderabad. So he says, this is the knowledge which is the right knowledge, which puts you on the right path. Which is our path? Dharma, artha, kama, moksha. So on the moksha road it puts you. It doesn't put you on the bandha road, bondage road. And susukham, very easy. Very easy it is. Kartum avyayam. And what kind of knowledge it is? Once you realize it, it never diminishes. It means, you know how maths and science and all subjects are. If you read on Monday, by Tuesday morning, you reach the Brahma Nirvana stage. Everything is zero in your mind. Everything has to be revised, otherwise you don't remember. Right? You have to go on revising knowledge in order to remember the knowledge. This knowledge is something, once you get it, you will never forget it, he says. It will never go away from you. Should we not invest in such a knowledge which will stay with us forever? All that you read in first, second, third class, do you remember all of it now? Forget it. All that you read yesterday, day before, do you remember? No. What did you eat day before? You remember? Even that we forget. But this knowledge, once we attain it, it is never lost to us. This Brahma Vidya. Therefore, it is one of the most beautiful things to do, best thing to do. And Krishna is encouraging Arjuna. Right? Because you have to encourage children. Otherwise, children will say, this is not doable, this is not for me. And they will give up even before they start. So Arjuna, don't worry, it is very easy. And best part is, once you know it, you don't forget it. You will always remember it. It will never be lost to you. How beautiful. Then he says, but the problem is, Ashraddha danaha purusha dharmasyasya parantapa aprapya mam nivartante mrityu samsara vartamani. But those who don't have Shraddha in this, those who don't believe me, I told just those who have Asuya, they think this is not true. They don't attain this knowledge. So first quality, as I said, go back, Shraddha. When 6 disciples come to Pippalada, they ask him, teach something. He doesn't teach them immediately. He checks their sincerity, checks their interest. He says, Brahmacharya, tapas, Shraddha. Practice this for 1 year and then you come back to me, then I will see if I know the answers to what you ask. I will tell you, otherwise that's it, go your way. But he doesn't teach them immediately. He tells them to wait for 1 year. And what should they practice? Brahmacharya means absolute control on their mind and senses. To tapas, intense austerities and penance, so that keep the mind steady, undistracted. And shraddha, practice faith in what I am saying. Develop that intensity and interest. Faith in. So he says, ashraddha dana purusha dharmasyasya parantapa aprapya. They don't attain this. Then what? They don't attain me, he says, because at this point in Krishna is referring to himself as the Supreme Lord who has no form, no name. He represents the supreme principle of Godhood. He is not the physical Krishna. So remember that, don't get confused there. Nivartante mrityu samsara. They come back again and again to this cycle of birth and death. What kind of people? Those who don't believe in this, those who don't have interest in it, those who don't want to put efforts therefore. Why they don't put efforts? You remember earlier also Krishna says, Kaschit, he says, Manushyanam sahastreshu kaschit yatate siddhaya. Somebody only puts efforts on spiritual path. Most of the people are very busy, kana, pina, sona, mana, enjoying life. YOLO. They are not interested in all this Vidya. Ashraddha, they have ashraddha. They don't have any interest in this. Why, Because it is a subtle knowledge. See, if you see something with your eyes, you can get interested in it. If you hear something with your ears, you can get interested in it. If you touch, taste, smell something, you can get interested in it because you are able to relate to it. You are able to experience it instantly. Whereas this knowledge is not graspable by your senses. And unfortunately, we are only used to using our senses in this world to experience everything. If senses cannot comprehend it, we think it doesn't exist. It's almost like saying somebody who never crossed India, never went to the US. He says, if somebody tells him that USA exists, this purpose is where I can't see the USA, so it does not exist for. That's not the logic you apply, right? Somebody will tell, no, I am from the US, I have been there, and I am telling you that it exists because I've seen it. Like that, rishis are telling, no, divinity exists, though it is not seen by these eyes, heard by the ears, or can be spoken about, or can be touched or tasted. It does exist beyond your senses. Yato vacho nivartante aprapya manasa saha. That which is beyond the words, where the words don't go, they return from there. It means it cannot be described. Aprapya manasa saha. Even the mind with all its power, intelligence, discrimination cannot understand it. That is the nature, that's the very definition of divinity. So what's the point in applying all these tools like your senses and the mind, because that is beyond the grasp of these. So how do we know divinity is the next question. Because these people, so first step is develop Shraddha. Krishna is saying, even before you start on this journey, believe that it exists. But I can't see, I can't taste, hear, smell, touch. Doesn't matter. Believe in me first. Shastrasya Guru Vakyasya Satya Buddhya Avadharanam. First believe that it exists. Let us start with the theory. Okay, theory 1, let us assume it exists. Now we will start the experimentation. That is the process. So he is telling believe, and that is what Yama tells Nachiketa, asti iti uplabdhavyasya tattva bhava prasidati. The one who believes that it exists, to him it reveals itself. Why? Because it becomes happy with such a person. So why did God create this whole world? So that somebody will know that he exists. And he can love some people and people can love him back. That was the only reason why the world came into existence. That is what Aitreya Upanishad says. Brahman was alone, didn't know what to do. He thought, nobody knows that I exist. So let me create so that I live. Most of the scriptures say this. The Lord created the world so that he could love the world and the world could love him back. His people, his children could love him back. Other than that, there was no purpose. Can you imagine how many things we are doing other than this? Other than this, we are already doing everything else. This is the problem. Why? Because he cannot be grasped by the senses. That's why the Rishi from Kenopanishad says, very, very humbly he puts it. Na vidmo na vijanimo yathaitad anushishyat. I do not know how to explain to you this. Because na tatra chakshush gacchati, na vak, no manaha. Mind cannot go, words cannot go, ears cannot go. It means all senses cannot go there. So how do I explain to you? It is an experience. It is not an explanation. It is an experience that you must have it for yourself. And that experience comes to the person who develops first Shraddha. Again, Krishna is saying about Shraddha. And where do you develop Shraddha? When you stay in the company of good people, who are devoted people, you will develop Shraddha. If you be in the company of wrong people, atheists, you will never develop that Shraddha or interest in God. Be in the company of noble people, devotees and good people. That's why I always say, Satsangatve Nissangatvam. Nirsagatve Nirmohatvam, Nirmohatve Nischal Tattvam, Nischal Tattve Jivan Mukti. If you want to attain God and freedom from this world, Start with satsanga. Be in the company of good people. And nobody, good company won't come searching for you. You have to go searching for it. Why? Uddhared atman atmanam. I want to redeem myself. You should be interested in yourself. Somebody wrote to me, my husband is not giving up some of the bad habits. I am very worried. And please advise him. So I advised. And my advice also fell on deaf ears. Then he is still continuing with his habits. So she is worried. Then I told him, see Amma, if he is not interested in his own redemption, how can anybody help? If the patient doesn't want to get well, what can doctor do? You cannot do anything about such a person. You have to be interested in your redemption. Why you should be interested? Krishna is going to tell. Anyway, after that Krishna says, who is this supreme that you have to realize? And very beautiful shloka. This is that tricky shloka which I am sure Vedavyasa used to trick Ganesha for some time and went for a, I don't know, milk break or something like that in those days. Maya tatamidam sarvam jagat yaktam murtina matsthani sarva bhutani nachaham teshu avasthitaha. He says, everything is permeated by me. In every aspect of this whole creation that you see with your senses, I alone exist, he says. You can simply apply the same logic, consciousness or whatever, the force exists in everything. But it is avyaktina, avyaktamurti, it is not manifest. In all things that are manifest, there is an unmanifest me which exists. Ishavasimidam sarvam yatkinchat jagatyam jagata. Isha Upanishad starts with that. The Lord permeates the entire universe. Everything, moving, unmoving, immovable, movable, whatever we call. Everything is permeated by the Lord. That is the first. Now you have to remember that. Number one, I permeate and pervade everything in an unmanifest form. First. Second thing he says is, Matsthani sarva bhutani. In me only everything else exists. Not only I permeate everything exists in me. 2. Third one, na chaham teshu avasthita, but I don't exist in them. See, tricky shlokas, so pay attention. I permeate everything first in an unmanifest form. 2, everything exists in me. Quite logical. 3, I don't exist in them. 3. Next shloka is even more complicated. And next he says, Nacha matsthani bhutani, and things don't exist in me. You will see previous shloka you said everything exists in you. Now you are saying nothing exists in you. So 4 things he said. What he said? First, I permeate everything. 2, everything exists in me. 3, I do not exist in other things. 4th, nothing exists in me. See, and finally says, Bhutani, Pashyame Yoga Maishno. This is my Maya. This is the power of my creation, creative Maya. He is telling Arjuna. You can imagine Arjuna's plight. First of all, in the middle of the battlefield, he doesn't know what to do. He's getting discourses after discourse, and now look at the complicated discourse. So this is a tricky. And then next line is, Bhuta Brun cha bhutasto mamatma bhuta bhavanaha. So he says, Bhuta Bhrit cha bhutastaha. So Bhuta Bhrit means I am the source or I am the sustainer of everything. I am the substratum. I am the foundation on which everything rests. Yes, and I am the source, beginning of everything. From me only everything has emerged. These are the definitions he has told about himself. Says, Maya tatavidam sarvam. I permeate and pervade everything. Correct. 2, everything exists in me. Matsthani sarvabhutani. 3, na chaham teshu avasthita. I don't exist in them. 4th, na cha matsthani bhutani. Things don't exist in me. So the best example, this is a Vedantic thought, Advaitic thought. It is not Dvaita. See, Krishna is clearly telling it's Advaita. Here, Advaita means there are no two, only one. So what he says, in Vedanta, the example of snake and the rope, Rajya Sarpaha, that we all know. When you go in the night, on the road, suddenly in the dark twilight, you see a rope and you take it for a snake and you get scared. Has it happened to people? So when you are going and you see a rope and you take it for a snake, what is your reaction? You get scared. Now first question, what is real there? Rope is real. Snake is unreal. It's your imagination. So first definition, what he says, I permeate everything. So the snake is because of the rope. So rope permeates the entire snake. Can the snake be longer or shorter than the rope? No. Every aspect of the snake is permeated by the rope. So first logic we got it. Second logic, Matsthani sarva bhutani. All things exist in me. Does the snake exist in rope? It appears to be so. Because if the rope was not there, where was the question of you seeing a snake? So snake exists exactly like the rope. The way it is twisted or turned, that is the way it exists. So do things exist in me? Yes. Why the snake exists in rope? The second logic. 3, I don't exist in them. The snake that you see and you don't see the rope. So does the rope exist in snake? How can it exist? Snake itself is not real. But if you see the snake, the rope is not there in the snake. That is the third logic. I don't exist in them. Rope does not exist in the snake, naturally. And fourth, he says, snake also does not exist in me. Is that correct or not? Because there is no snake in the first place, how will it exist? This is my yoga maya, Krishna is telling. Enjoy this, he says. Pashya, look at the glory of my maya, the way I have created this world. I permeate everything like the rope. Snake is the maya, that the world exists. And then that though it appears that it exists on me, it actually does not exist. Though you may say I exist in the world, that also is not true, because the world itself is not there. That is why Shankaracharya says Brahma Satyam Jagan Mithya. This is the definition you should take. The Brahman, the foundational, the basis, consciousness is the truth. Because it is independent in its existence. It does not need anything else to exist. That's the idea of Satyam. What is Mithya? That which needs something else to exist. Like the snake needs the rope to appear as if it exists. But the rope does not need the snake for it to exist. So that is the idea of Brahman. The Lord is like the rope, who always existed, is existing and will continue to exist. Snake is the Maya, the world, which appears to exist. In a dream, when you are dreaming, a new world you see. You see new creatures, you see a new place, you see new things. So where does these things exist? In your dream, you met a person. Where does that person exist? He exists in you only, because you are dreaming. You may see yourself also with the person in the dream. So you also exist in the dream, you will think. But the truth is what? None of the persons in the dream really exist. Who exists? You alone who is dreaming. Think of the Lord as the dreamer and think of the world as a dream. And you sit and analyze it for yourself. That is why Shankaracharya says, Vishwam tyaktva swapna vicharam. Think of the whole world as a dream and give up this idea of attaching, detaching from things, running behind things or running away from things. Just give up this idea, because in a dream, what do you attain and what do you lose? When king ordered, I want a flying palace. Everybody said, where did you get this idea? No, I dreamt that I was going in a flying palace. So it must be true. I want a flying palace. Somehow he called all the engineers like I do. I want this building yesterday like that. So he told, I want the flying palace, get it done. So all these engineers in his court started thinking, what do I do? He said, by tomorrow give me a solution, otherwise I'm going to chop all their heads. So these people got scared. They went to a very wise man. They said, please save us from this. So the wise man was a courtman, he was a minister. He said, I will take care, don't worry, you just come to the palace tomorrow. So next morning this minister came with all tatters, torn clothes and things like that. And he told the king, come down from the simhasana, the chair. I'm going to sit there. He said, king said, what's wrong with you? Why will you sit on my chair? What has happened to you? He said, I had a dream that you came and took away my kingdom and made me a beggar. So according to the dream, I am the king, you are not the king, because you took away my kingdom. The king said, what are you talking? In a dream, anybody can be king, anybody can be beggar. That is not real. You can't believe that. He said, the same way in a dream, palaces can fly. In reality, they won't. So don't trouble them. So where was the palace? In the dream. It doesn't exist. But the king became so attached. So he wanted the palace to be built which can fly. So idea is that, think of the whole world as the dream of God. In the dream, so many things happen. But none of this is true. That is what Shankaracharya is trying to say. This is mithya. The truth is only consciousness. We have been born, we die. One thing that remains with us is our consciousness. Now, all those who have not understood, when you are going back, if you see a rope and think that it's a snake and try to catch it, and if it turns out to be a real snake, God save you. But problem with us is we have found out that it's a rope, but still we are searching for the snake. No, snake was here, where it went? Which species was that? I am saying there is no snake over there. No, but I saw the snake 10 minutes ago. I saw that was rope only which you saw a snake. No, I saw a snake, I am sure. I have to search for it. Where it went, I do not know, which hostel. So idea is that we are searching for things in this world which does not exist according to Vedanta, Advaita, and exactly that is what Sri Krishna is saying. Because of me, it appears that everything exists. But truth is, I alone exist. Everything else is just a projection on me. Because of me, everything appears to exist. Because of the rope, only snake appears to exist. But truth is that only the rope exists, no snake exists there. Same way, Lord alone exists, the world does not exist, is our Vedanti philosophy. Then you will ask, it means all of us are a part of a dream? Now we don't exist really? What is the truth? I have to really be shocking you by saying that is what Vedanta says. That we are just imaginations. We are just illusions. We are in a dream. But then you will say, how do we get out of this dream? I don't want to be in this dream. Then attain the wisdom. Like the child who dreams and gets scared of some dream lion. Then mother sees the child sweating, throwing hands and legs. So mother comes and does what? She understands this child is dreaming. So mother wakes him up and he wakes up and says, lion, lion, where is that lion? Mother says, there's no lion, that was a dream. Oh, thank God. It was a dream, it was not a real lion. Same thing. Oh, this world, so many things, nice things, bad things, ugly things, good things, happy things, sad things. So many things are happening. We are all getting jittery. Sometimes excited, sometimes depressed, sometimes happy, sometimes sad, like the child dreaming. Then a guru comes who is awake. He shakes us and says, wake up, you are dreaming. The reality is you are divine. This world is just a dream. That is something that Krishna is telling in these two shlokas so powerfully as just, this is the supreme secret knowledge. Then you'll say, now we all know this knowledge. No, you don't know it because you have not experienced it. You're still in the dream. The day you can confirmly say that I am divine and you experience that divinity within, without, that is the day you have attained this supremely secret knowledge. Till that day it has not happened. Till that day it has not happened. So develop this kind of yasya deve para bhakti yatha deve tatha gurau tasyaite katityahi artha prakashante mahatmana shvetashvatara upanishad. The one who has true devotion to the divine as he has for the guru, such a person alone attains this kind of knowledge. It shines in that person's inner self. Prakashante, it illumines itself within. It doesn't see it outside. Right? So that is one thing. Don't compare it with the Prahalada story of he telling his father Narayana exists in the pillar and the pillar is broken and Narsimha comes out. No, that is a different, that is a Purana. But this idea of Advaita is about the supreme consciousness which is Nirguna Nirakara. I do not know how many of people have understood, at least theoretically. If you have not, please go and, as I said, do the snake and rope experiment. I am sure high school children are getting ideas. Now I can scare people with the snake, the rope snake, But that is the truth. We want it, we don't want it, we like it, we don't like it. Nobody cares because that is the truth. The truth has to be told as it is.